his pants. Alec and Pete, bring in the heat. Alec and Pete, is that kielbasa? Bring in the heat. Alec and Pete.
You heard it. It's Bringing the Heat with Alec and Pete. Your co-host Alec, and we got Pete, of course.
I'm coming to you guys from the Wilson's hot tub.
Yeah. So for those that listened the last couple weeks, Fedor did the podcast from his car, and which really amazed. That wasn't planned. The first time wasn't planned. It worked pretty well. I mean, for those that listened, and so we were like, you know what? Clearly, you could just do it from anywhere, and so Pete's gonna try it from his hot tub.
Yeah, mixing things up. I got a Corona here in memory of Fee, because he was in the car there with the Arnie Palmer salsa. Yep.
It was something like that. And it's for those that usually watch our podcast on YouTube, because I think people have been doing that. You might not want to watch this one on YouTube because Pete's shirt is off. So
my shirt is off, and I got a haircut that cost me $30, and it only took 10 minutes at Cost Cutters. So you know how those things end up, especially, I went to the University Cost Cutters, which is horrible.
University Cost Cutters. Is that the one in that plaza? Right?
It's a plaza. And they get all the stupid college kids that come in there, and they just don't give a fuck. So they fuck your hair up because they think you're one of them.
Shout out Cost Cutters. Shout out Cost Cutters. I
think they're doing pretty good during COVID.
So, I mean, here's the thing, and I've had this conversation with people before. Because my cousin that goes to Ithaca, I had a fresh haircut. He looked at my haircut. He's like, I like your fade you got going on. He's like, who do you go to? And I was like, oh, my boy on Main Street. And so I shout out Benz's Barbershop. He's awesome. $15 a haircut. And my cousin's like, how do you get that fit? Whatever. I go to him and I asked my cousin, like, who do you go to? He's like, I go to this lady. I don't even know her name. I'm like, well, that's your first. I mean this in the most non-sexist way, is women don't cut men's hair as well as they cut women's hair. Pete, your iPhone.
I would.
Oh, there you
go. I would agree with that. But then again, if for women it takes women could take like an hour and a half. You know what I mean?
You mean women getting their haircut take an hour? Getting their haircut
taking an hour and a half, and it costs doesn't it cost like $90 to $100?
Yeah, but they have so. I get the pricing of women's hair, why it's more. It makes sense. They get their haircut every 6 months to a year. We get our haircut monthly. So you think we spend on average, which I know kids that spend more than this. I know, and I really am the only one I know that spends less than this. Me and my father, because we're cheap. Let's say on average $20 a haircut. We go once a month, times that by 12. That is $240 a year.
Jeez, your dog agrees as well.
For those watching on YouTube, my dog is in the back. Shout out Louie. You are Walmart Rudy. My old dog passed away. He's a lot cooler than this dog. So when you think about it, women, like, they spend, once a year or once or twice a year, they spend $90. That's $180 a haircut for the year compared to us.
Yeah, but also think about, you got to add in the nails, the pedicures and manicures.
Well, listen, that now we're going into a different direction.
But, all right. Well, I just want to toss it in. I want an even playing field. You know what I mean?
I mean, of course, of course, that's part.
Right, yeah, we can dive.
But if we're talking just hair, men spend more on hair, but I do think men should get their haircuts by men and women should get their haircuts by women. And that's not even me being sexist. I've seen it.
And I feel like, well, that's for most men. I mean, like our buddy Wheeler, who's been on, I think he's losing his hair, right? I think that was the most recent conversation we've had with him. He was wearing the hat last time, right, or something.
Yeah.
So we'll get him back on and see how. I think he was experimenting with Rogaine, so we'll see how that. Shout out Rogaine, they're a sponsor.
I wonder if we should stop saying they're sponsors when they're not sponsors. I feel like we can do shout outs, but not saying they're sponsors.
Yeah,
let's just say right now, no one is sponsoring the show. Okay.
Yeah, for legal terms, nobody but Bendito's Pizza, which is a local startup company, pizza startup company. It's like a dog food / vegan startup company. They're interested in sponsoring. They're talking with Nancy right now, but yeah, for legal coverage, anyone that we've mentioned that's sponsored, not necessarily has actually sponsored us. Yeah, we might have thrown some feelers out.
In
you know?
spirit, in spirit.
In spirit. We got your cousin on that, I think.
Yeah. But I'm wearing sunglasses and I'm in my basement as I always am. I don't leave the basement, as we know.
Yep.
Or the closet. I stay in the basement and I stay in the closet. That's pretty much the thing I do. I'm wearing the glasses today because you know what? I'm blocking out the haters and I'm blocking out the non-shirt you're wearing. Like I don't, I'm not trying to see that right now.
The no shirt vibe, yeah. So I've cut down let's say 5 pounds on weight from just cutting out some drinking, some nightly drinking.
Because when we first started the podcast, which is kind of crazy, it's been I think 7-8 months of doing it every week. I think you were drinking 10, 12 beers a night.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Just binge watching probably 3 movies a night, knocking down 3-4 beers for each movie, But now I've gotten on a grind, saving money, investing money,
let's talk about that real quick.
So if we want to toss that in, so everyone's heard about the Bitcoin, and then there's Dogecoin. There's Dogecoin, it's based off nothing, but it got hyped up and went from 0.002 cents or something, and it popped up to like 5 cents. And so I was like, oh, let me just hop into this at 6 cents. So I probably threw $1,000 in. I had to get some money.
Yeah,
I don't even know where
this is coming from. But...
It was probably me, Venmoing it to somebody on a credit card and getting it back in cash to be able to invest it. Just taking that out, which I don't know if banks even know about that or allow that. But long story short, I put it in and it's up to 18 cents today. So with my 10,000 shares, that's like a grand profit in a day. So we'll see where it goes,
honest question. I am the dumbest person when it comes to investing and everything, which is good because I'm going to have an MBA in 4 weeks. Shout out Binghamton University. So I'm just wondering, how do you go? Do you have an app that you go on?
So yeah, most people use Robinhood, even though like some people complain about serious people who do stocks and they do like long term. Because here's the thing: if you hold it for a year plus, you only have to pay 15% capital gains tax. Okay, 15% on whatever you profit. But if you sell it by day, you have to pay 30%. Okay, that might change with Biden in office. Biden might up the long term, so then there's no real reason to hold it long term. But you use Robinhood. And say you transfer, and I think it's $1,000 limit a day, and you can just buy shares, to a company.
So your credit card is linked up to Robinhood, and it just
my bank account. You can't sell it up. Yeah, so it's got to come from straight cash, and then it takes like a day to transfer the money, and then but once you initiate the transfer, you can spend that say $1,000, and then eventually it'll grab it from your bank account. But it's like $1,000 a day, so. What I essentially could do is just sell out right now, profit that.
If you sell it right now, that money you made, so that let's say you made that $1,000, that'll be 30% taxed, is what you're saying.
Just the $1,000. So I would get back $2,000 because I invested initially $1,000.
Right. So the capital gains tax 30%. But if you kept it for a year and then pulled, it would be only 15%.
It'd be only 15% for as of right now. I think
does that seem flawed? Like, why should it matter how long you hold it for how much it's taxed?
Here's the thing. It's because you have these massive brokerage companies, massive day traders that will buy $100,000 in a day at 1 second. And they pull out like a day later, profit. Instead, they could gain like $200,000, say 200%. They could gain, if they bought $100,000 in Dogecoin yesterday, like I did, and sold out today, they would be at, I think they probably profited another $100,000 because I think it basically doubled. Yeah, they would profit another. So that's $200,000. So like they would either get $200,000 back, and that's kind of pretty fucked up with these people, So
why is that fucked up? Like I'm just curious. Why
the government's like, this is quick money. Let's fucking take 30% of it right now, because that's like. You can make so much money. So the government takes advantage of that.
Isn't that you being smart? Like, I just feel like that's you being smart.
Yeah, a smart business. But the government sees an opportunity to take more,
God, you know what? It's Cuomo. It's Cuomo doing it. It really.
He's the one behind the whole thing. He's basically since like the first grade. That's what he's been doing. So yeah. But are you invested in anything right now? What are you doing? Are you just keeping it
No,
on the
I
couch?
I think we should have a longer conversation and get involved in some, well, the funds we make from the podcast,
Yeah.
which obviously is definitely rising. You know what's funny is I talk to a lot of people and they tell me they listen to a lot of people I talk to that we're close with say they listen to the podcast, and then I look at the numbers and it's like someone's lying to me here because the numbers aren't what
Match up.
don't
They
match
don't
up
match
with
up.
these people
Yeah.
say, oh yeah, I listened to that one. It's like, okay, you listened to the one. I mean,
It's the one. They listen to the one, and then they come up to us and they're like, "Oh yeah, avid listener, avid listener."
yeah, they're like, oh, it was really funny. It's like, okay, well, why aren't you like? What's that one? TikTok where they're like, why aren't you, coming in
Right?
that music? That
Yeah.
comes in,
Yep. Yep. Well,
Um,
here's a question. I think our first podcast out there, I said the F word probably 20 times, and we were just not put together. But we should probably have one of our guys, Kev, go back and maybe make that better so that the first experience of listening to the podcast is a little more edited,
yeah.
Um,
Well, what's crazy is when we started, we edited a lot, and it was not as good. And I think as we've gone further, we've edited zero,
we just
and
become pros. That's what it is.
yeah, pros. That's
Hmm.
one way to put it.
So we're thinking, just like Barstool does the sports betting, we might have a little Alec and Pete investing,
Yeah,
something in the works.
yeah. I
Although
think
neither of us know anything, really about.
we know nothing. I mean, I want to do the fact that you made $1,000 today pisses me. I mean, it pisses me off. I want to make
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about I'll throw some other things in. This is just how I work. So,
Okay.
for example, I'm on Facebook Marketplace. People know I'm an avid marketplacer. I see somebody free printer ink, sealed printer ink. So I'm like, damn, let me go pick that up. I listed on eBay for $100. It gets sold for 87 in like a minute. I'm like, geez, wow, it's 87 bucks in a minute for me just picking it up. And then a while back, I bought, the scuba gear, and I had an oxygen tank. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Somebody today sends me $50 on Venmo, says I live 100 miles away. So I could just take the 50 and just go. I live 100 miles away. I'm going to come pick it up on like Sunday. I'm like, geez, like, I don't know. But the cards have been dealt and the chickens are hatching,
You seem, what I've noticed is you seem to be doing a lot better financially.
I'm basically, I am debt free essentially right now. I'm debt free in the sense of
That is
my assets.
what you accomplish in the, like, I'm 3 weeks ago, you're in a spot where I thought, you're drowning, you're not going to get out, you can't swim, you're, a little heavy. Now here you are 3 weeks later, you're not in debt. You're lost 5 pounds. You got a nice haircut. It could be better.
Yeah.
Things are looking up for you.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It's the early morning rising. That's what it is. You get up at like 7 o'clock. There's a lot more you can accomplish as opposed to getting up at 9 or 10. It's weird. What time do you wake up?
7:45.
Yeah. I mean, you get up and then, so I listened to this. I don't know if it was a podcast or a video. It's basically, it might've been Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights. That's an audio book that he wrote. Okay. I'm trying to send that out. You should definitely read it. But in there, he goes, find 3 habits and just become a slave to them. You know what I mean? Like find 3 habits and just, there's no excuses to have to run. Mine, I did cut down on drinking as much as I can. Wake up in the morning and do a 15-minute morning exercise, push up and ab workout, regardless, every morning. And then my third was wake up before like 7:45 every morning. And so,
because you knew I woke up at 7:45. You're like, I need to beat him. So you were waking up.
I got to match it. And so the first 2 weeks is like, you're like, shit, I'm not going to continue to do this. And then after 2.5 weeks, it's like, I'm kind of used to it. You know what I mean? They say it takes like 2 to 3 weeks to break a habit. Same thing to get into another habit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I own for, so I'm speaking of a habit. I was in a habit of 3 months of just, not engaging in sexual intercourse. For those that follow every week, I'm an open book. We know it's been a while. Okay. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Luckily that problem was solved this past week. And I gotta say this, not doing it for a 3-month period and then doing it, it's almost like when you first get on a bike after not riding it for a couple years, you're like, okay, look, I know what I'm doing, but it's going to take me a second to really get the feel for what's going on.
Mhm.
And I mean, so that way, I'm not going to get into the details. No one wants to hear the details. Maybe if Lauren was on or Call Her Daddy, they do that stuff. But I will say this morning, I thought I'd been working out. I've been trying to work out and stuff, but I think doing it, I think it works muscles that you don't work when you're working out. Cause my upper ass is very sore from the thrusting.
Yep.
So it's a problem.
So he was behind you, or?
Yeah. So he, yeah, well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, yeah. So
You played yourself into that.
That was good. Yeah, so he was cool. Jimmy, his name is, good guy.
Casual hangout.
Hasn't hit me up since. We met on Grinder. I don't know. Shout out Grinder.
Grinder. Yep.
Pretty good app. But yeah,
so. Jeez. So was this a fellow listener of the podcast?
So I didn't know this person listened to the podcast, but he said that he listens to he has listened to the podcast before, and so sounds like we had another listener. So shout out. Thank you for the end of the streak.
But think about this too. Although he said he listened to the podcast, he could have just seen it on Instagram, listened to a video, and considered,
I will say a lot of people liked the little clip we put up on Instagram.
The videos.
I had I think that got some people interested. So we're we got Marco is our video guy. Pete and I are mentally challenged. So
in that sense.
Yeah.
I think Marco's going for his PhD in digital design, I believe, right? William and Mary University. I'm pretty sure. We're not sure. That's a side note.
He wanted me to be, it's funny. He wants me to be his sponsor for confirmation, but
is that still going on, the confirmation stuff?
Well, I think they did it virtually last year, and then he's in 8th grade, so I think he still has another year or so.
Yeah, because religion and COVID just
it hasn't mixed. There's been a lot of lawsuits about it. A lot of lawsuits.
Yeah.
And I'm very religious. You are. I mean, you went to Catholic school.
Yeah. Full lifer in terms of Catholicism. But I mean.
So here's the little thing. Not to get off topic. We have a Russian lady that lives down the street here, and she dropped off Russian chocolate, and I was like, oh wow, like this is gonna be pretty cool. For those that don't know, Russian chocolate tastes just like American chocolate. So you can just have
just no difference whatsoever.
Yeah, not at all. I was like, wow, this is really just like a regular chocolate bar. So
was it homemade, or was it just you could say it was?
No, it was from like a Russian company, because I couldn't understand, which is cool.
Just had a bunch of little kids crying on the front of the package.
Shout out Putin, by the way. I heard he's a big fan of the show. Putin.
Yeah, and he weightlifts like regularly. Did you know that? He's in pretty good shape, and I think he's like 70. Right?
Which I don't know what that means, but I know that's like the CIA for Russia, and I know they crazy shit.
Yeah, I wonder, like, does he have any kids? I don't know who's taking out. Like, whatever happened with the Kim Jong-un? Is that still a threat, or what's going on there?
Dead? I thought he was dead.
It's either him or his dad, or both of them, and the uncle was like killed.
Well, he doesn't have any kids. And didn't he die in that one movie? Isn't that one movie, The Interview? Isn't that that's based on a true story, right? So
I think so. Yeah,
in that movie,
they go over there. There's like the people in the candy store and stuff. I think that must have, because James Franco actually was an ambassador with Dennis Rodman, right?
Right, him, and then they took it to the candy shop and they licked you like a lollipop. I'm pretty sure that happened.
50 Cent based a song off that.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, but back on the religion thing. I mean, I feel like, do you think it'll ever get back to like the church stuff? You know what I mean, or just the usual?
Well, I mean, obviously you're not in Florida anymore, but I think Florida is like church services, everything like that.
Outdoors, I think though.
which you can do that in Florida. In New
Yeah.
York, you really can't have outdoor church services 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And you're Catholic, strong Catholic, right?
strong, come from a conservative Catholic family.
Yeah. Never thought about changing.
No, not entirely. But I'll tell you this: if I were to change, it would definitely, with hands down, I would be Jewish, and I'll tell you why. I don't know if people know this. I'm a huge disc golf fan. Okay,
Yep.
and I would use the yarmulke as a disc to play disc golf whenever I wanted to play.
Huh. Is there enough weight in that?
Well, I think you can probably,
the thrust.
make something. Well, yeah, the thrusting I've been doing last night, combined with maybe makeshifting a yarmulke that works properly for that.
Something. Yeah, something. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean that, and I've never met a Jewish person that does not do well financially.
Financially well off. Yeah, there's got to be something with that.
They're smart, they're smart people. They know what they're doing, and it seems like a pretty inclusive or exclusive, like
exclusive.
It's very hard to get, if you're Jewish, you're in that culture, you're part of that. And, not that, I have some Jewish friends, but, they do their own thing. I want to be a part of it sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. My grandmother was Jewish, but I'm Catholic. So maybe that's why the finance side didn't pop onto me there.
No. I didn't realize your grandma was Jewish.
Oh yeah, whole side from Poland. Most of the family got killed.
Really?
Not to bring the group down, yeah, but when Hitler invaded, yeah, whole side wiped out basically. But
so your dad is half Jewish?
Yep, he converted to Catholicism when my grandma passed away.
When his mom passed away, he converted to Catholicism.
Yeah, well, he wanted to become Catholic for a while, but he didn't want to disrespect.
What? So did your dad know his dad?
No, not really.
Wow.
But I think he was Catholic. I think he was Irish. Like he was, yeah.
So your dad's dad is Irish Catholic.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
You would think you would know that. That's your grandfather.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't around. So.
Yeah. So it's like an awkward thing to bring up, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's not awkward. I just don't I don't know. Because he just wasn't around. Just like your dad, just not around. Just. He's only around for those stories when you're at a basketball game. He shows up and just fucking yells at you.
I know, right when he comes when he walks in the court, I'm like, oh shit, he's here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine him walking into somewhere like Core Life or something, or a Panera, like a nice a salad.
No shot.
The stuff he would say.
He would freak out.
The fuck are these noodles? You go, what are these noodles? Spicy noodles.
You see what they're fucking charging on this shit? The fuck?
For corn, I get that 49 cents. Gas Weiss down the street. They're charging $1.60. Like it's just, yeah.
He got so mad at Easter, that
you need to bring him to a Cheesecake Factory. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. Yeah. He's not fun to bring to restaurants because the first thing that guy is never not talking about money and it's just like, it hits a point where it's not everything's about money, big guy.
Yeah. So you were saying
at Easter, he's like getting really mad about dumb things. Like before Easter dinner, he said, "We're gonna keep it simple this year. We're gonna have fucking ham, fucking potatoes, and that's it." He has a small mouth. He talks he's very angry.
A lot of air has to come out, but make it work.
So then my aunt, my cousin Drew's parents, my aunt and uncle, they bring over chicken parm, which I was like, thank God. I'll be honest, I'm not a big ham fan. I don't know.
Neither am I.
Something about I don't really like the taste of it. I don't know if
the texture's
bad.
I don't like. I'm not a big turkey person either. I had Easter. I had the whole Italian dinner for Easter. Our happiest Easter ever.
What did you? Well, all right. I'll finish my story. I want to know what you had.
Yeah.
So basically, my aunt and uncle bring over the chicken parm. My dad immediately is like freaking. He's like, too much fucking food now. I'm just like, who gives a like? I'll take the food on, which I did. It's like, you need why are you getting mad over these things? Like you're mad about too much food being in the house on Easter.
Yeah.
Like imagine, like
you get leftovers, like that's food for a week. Like that's a blessing right there. That's a blessing. That doesn't add up. So like I was saying, So I went over to my girlfriend's house for Easter, and just like you got the chicken parm, you got the pasta, the meatballs. This was the dream Easter that I always envisioned. Because here, let me play you back. Thanksgiving and Easter in the past, you get the turkey, you get the ham, and you're tired as shit after, because in turkey there's the tryptophan.
I
And
like
it's
turkey
like,
though. I like turkey personally.
I don't like because there's onions and everything, and I can't do
In the
onions.
turkey, there's onion. I don't know what
No,
kind of
no,
turkey
but
you're
but
eating.
the stuffing, and then if you get like it's just, I would rather some nice pasta and chicken parm
Well,
than
yeah.
any type of plain
I think
stuffing.
we should. I think for all
We should
holidays,
swap.
there should be just like no one. If you don't like pasta, like something's wrong with you.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So I think every I don't care if it's Thanksgiving, Easter, there should just be a bowl of pasta and sauce. And
yeah,
if you don't want that other shit, you can just have pasta.
yeah, yeah. And I had homemade pasta at the Easter, and I was like, I can't go back to anything else. You know.
So is that the first time you've had homemades?
Well, I know I've had homemade out in Italy, but in the States, it's the first time.
Because they call me Grassi homemades.
Do they?
Yeah.
Do you make your own homemade?
So me, my uncle Ange, my dad's other brother, we made it a couple months ago during Christmas time. We made homemades. And
You freeze it, right?
we froze it, and then we would bring it out, and it's good. It's the
you
best.
got the whole roller.
We got the the old school roller from like 1932 at my uncle's. My mom's got the KitchenAid attachment. So that's just electronic. You just run it through and it does it.
You know what's crazy? They upprice those things like a motherfucker. The newer pasta makers. You know what I mean?
What, did Biden put a tax on them?
Probably. He was like, everyone's enjoying pasta. We need to cut down on this. So
I'll tell you this: you eat a salad at these dinners.
Here's the thing: for some reason, the salad came after the chicken, the pasta, and everything else. So the salad was like a pre-dessert, which was interesting because I usually do. Salad usually comes out first. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess is it in the Italian way that it comes out, or it just doesn't matter? It's just mixed up.
We never did that, but I'll tell you this: I put my salad on the right side of my plate because that's the way I vote. So I like to put my salad the way I vote.
I can't even. Oh my God. Well, there you go. Open book on the podcast there.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm like half kidding.
Yeah, half and half.
I mean, what do you want? My grandma won't watch movies or TV shows with liberal people in it anymore. So
I was looking at the news, and I haven't watched the news in, I want to say, a year. And I was at a place watching the news for like 20 minutes. There's nothing positive going on in the news anymore.
No.
Like remember the days that, like, I think back to like Ron Burgundy and stuff. Remember the days that it was like a nice, like the birth of a panda bear or something like that. And that's just stuff that people.
Well, there's a reason why podcasts and other things are getting so popular. It's because the average person, that's in the middle. Like, obviously, I just made a joke about being on the right, whatever. The average person like us, we don't want to listen to these far right and far left, and that's what the news is. It's just so podcasts. I get all my news now from podcasts, and because they just bring it to you in a funny, middle of the road way. Like, here's what's happening. This is funny. Biden fell down the stairs. Like, it's just
and there's no external like puppeteers. You know what I mean? It's all just
right.
It's all just being straight up, and the world needs more straight up these days because everything's behind a curtain. You know what I mean? Everything's.
Well, I don't like more straight. I like more curvy, but that's just me.
Yeah. We know that from the history of the podcast
night,
there.
But
the pasta, of course. We're talking about the pasta. Yeah.
I mean, listen, what are you gonna do? I grew up in a house where I told you my grandma legitimately, like, I'll go over. I want to watch Goodfellas or something. She's like, oh, Robert De Niro's in that. He's a liberal. I'm like, Graham, listen, I don't give a fuck what this guy votes for, who he votes for. I just want to watch Goodfellas. Like, why does that matter? Us watching that movie, who that guy voted for, it doesn't matter.
Nobody Yeah. Quick question, random questions just popped up as you mentioned De Niro. Your name, how did that come to play? Like, your name, shouldn't it be something more like Santorini Grassi, or like
so you think it should be longer?
I'm thinking it should be something more. I feel like Alex just kind of like.
Oh, my first name.
just down the road.
Funny you ask that. I personally don't like my first name. But here's the thing is what happened is my mom wanted me to name me something like very cliche, like Anthony or something. And my dad's like, no, my son's not going to be a fucking Guido Buck. Bah.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't want me to be a sauce monkey as some.
So he wanted to balance it off.
He wanted to make me like, he wanted me to have like an American, first name. And and now I have an Italian flag in my room. So like, I don't know. It's, my kids aren't going to have, they're going to have like Dominic, Angelo, yo, hey Dom, what's up? Like they're going to have those type of names.
Yeah. I'm trying to push toward more of the Greek Italian names as well. My middle name Alexander, based off of Alexander the Great. We know this. Everyone knows this. And then Peter, the first pope, keys to the kingdom. So I've been destined for greatness with my name. But I'm thinking firstborn Leonidas. You can't go wrong with Leonidas, right?
You don't see a Leonidas anymore.
I know. King of the Spartans.
And think about it, though. Think about it. There's no way a kid in school named Leonidas isn't going to be one of the coolest kids in school.
I know, because people say, "Oh, he's going to get bullied." He might get bullied early on, but then when you see his middle name, Leonidas Poseidon, people don't fuck with that. You know what I mean? I watched a lot of movies recently. The Greek history movies. But
well, so let's talk about naming your kid Spartacus.
Ooh,
I mean that motherfucker.
Sparta would be sick. Sparta would be sick.
Let's just talk. Let's say we name your kid Spartacus, right? For one, it's gonna be funny popping out. Your kid's gonna have blue eyes, light skin, sunburns a lot, but his name's gonna be Spartacus, and there's no way that kid isn't gonna fight his teacher. Like he's gonna try to take over the school.
100%. And the best thing would be like give him the most basic name. In the middle, Spartacus Jones, or you know what I mean, or Spartacus William something, just kind of
it'd be
balance
your last
it
name.
out.
So
no, I'm going to say middle name.
Oh right,
Spartacus
Cumberbatch.
Well, that would be
Spartacus
Cumberbatch. That would be a rough one. That would be a rough wedding right there. They just named you got to do some real like Jewish. Beth Leiserman Nahine. You ever seen that movie Wedding Ringer with Kevin Hart and Josh Gad?
No. Is that good?
He does some Josh Gad has some very Jewish middle name, and it's Laheim Beth Langzinger Laserman something. That's a great like prank right there. So just
what
give
about
your kid
I have a buddy named Ori. So what if it was Spartacus Ori Kondrup?
That's kind of sick.
That's not bad. SOK sock.
Yeah.
They'll call him the cock sock. They'll call him the cock sock.
Mine's Pack.
Oh, it's Pack. That's why isn't your Snapchat thing like Pack?
Caddy Pack. Caddy Pack.
Shout out Caddy Pack, Adam.
Yep. Based off of Caddyshack and then my initials, which
I remember years ago you were snapping me. And I think I texted you. I'm like, some fucking kid is snapping me right now. Some caddy. I was like, some weirdo keeps snapping me. I have no idea who it is. You're like, who is it? I'm like, I don't know. It's like some caddy something. You're like, that's me. I've been snapping you. I'm like, oh.
Wow. You just didn't fucking open it?
No, I opened it, but it wasn't a picture of you. Like you were sending, you weren't sending pictures of your body. I think you had
a picture of like the deer and the yeah.
But so.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, we mentioned this. That just brings up, our past and stuff. We mentioned this in the past podcast, but I just want everyone to know the first time that Grassi and I hung out and he slept over at the house, it was a fight to the death that he slept in the same bed as me.
Well, we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
We did. I just want to bring it back up just for listeners to know how our relationship sprung onto this point. You kind of you made the initial move to say there's going to be something bigger than just us.
Well, we met at the Sweet 16, I believe, one of our friends' Sweet 16s, and that was the first time I ever was around a bunch of Catholic school people, and I was like, oh, so that's why they say Catholic school people are a piece of shit. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And then I met you. We became friends there. I saw BK, and I saw his head, and I'm like, I legitimately thought this kid. I'm like, why is there a 40-year-old on the dance floor,
bro? Yeah, if you catch him, especially from like the back, the side, it's like this
His
person must have fought in some war, at least Vietnam.
his profile's wild. My profile's wild because my schnoz does some wild shit from the profile.
Yeah, yeah,
And then but his head is unbelievable profile view.
yeah, yeah. And I either have facial hair sometimes I don't. The haircuts change, the weight changes.
Yeah, you
Yeah, but dude,
yeah, you're wild. Yeah, you're like a metamorphosis. Is that metamorphosis?
yeah, metamorphosis. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But but truthfully, I've been staying off social media. We talk about this all the time, but it's getting worse and worse as the days go on.
Well, before we get into that, I didn't ask you. You asked me what religion I'd want to be. Did I ask you?
Ooh,
ask
yep. So I've done some research, and they've got the interesting ones where with the Mormons, you can have multiple wives and all that. There's this thing called relayism or something, and they believe that the human species.
How do you spell that? I'm just curious.
It's like it's opposite of realism. It's RAELISM. Bring this up on your computer right now. So they believe that humans spawned out of extraterrestrials. And so basically, instead of the opposite of what's that word? Evolution, they're saying that we spawned out of like ET, like the guy with the the finger that touched the finger to the kid.
Yeah.
Are you finding this on the web?
Yeah, I'm on Wikipedia right now. Oh, it involves extraterrestrial species, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So where is this based out of? Do we have any more information there?
Let's see here. We're Wikipedia. We're the Wikipedia monsters. No, that's not good. I got to come up with something better. It says the headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland.
Everything's in Geneva for some reason.
Isn't that where Frankenstein's from? Isn't that where the book Frankenstein is based?
Yep. And Geneva, like the Swiss banks, isn't it?
Is that it? And
the
in Geneva, salami.
That's
Genoa.
Genoa, they're cousins. The Geneva Convention, the one that says you can't torture people, right?
Oh, is that it?
I think, right? I don't know. But everything's in Geneva. I think Geneva is one of those places that you can do whatever you want. It's like,
yeah, we should definitely have people look this. This is wild. I'm just, I'm briefly looking through. So go through it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying. So they're saying essentially like instead of evolution, where we, spawned out of little creatures, they're saying that aliens kind of got into the planet, I'm pretty sure, and somehow adapted to the planet and we evolved out of them. Is that what you're reading on your end? The species evolution based off of?
Yeah. I think you're right.
That would be like, still having connects with extraterrestrials. You know what I mean? Which I think we're trying to look back for, but maybe it's like.
It started in France in 1974. All right. So
1974, I mean, people were probably 74. You got to think is that post-Vietnam?
Is that during Vietnam? No, I think that's either during I think that's during Vietnam, no?
Or maybe
Korea.
Vietnam
70s or 60s?
What was first, Korea or Nam? Korea was, right?
Oh my God.
What's the one with Woodstock? The one with Woodstock was in the 70s, the hippies, yeah.
I'm going to Wikipedia again. Okay, Vietnam, 70, 50. Wait, Vietnam was a 20-year war? Is that?
Yeah.
So 1955 to 1975?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, it happened right, like literally, like World War II, I think ended like 42. That's crazy. Dude, imagine being in World War II, being an officer, and then 10 years later, they're like, yeah, you got to go back to.
So, okay, Korean War was before Vietnam, 1950 to 1953, and then Vietnam War.
That was a rough patch there because you had World War I, 20s or something, right? Or something, 1918.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you had 42, World War II. Immediately after, 8 years later, you got Korea. And then 2 years after that ends, or 3 years, you've got Vietnam. Like, geez.
No wonder why we're a bunch of pussies. We didn't grow up with any war going. I mean, what the worst thing that happened while we were growing up is fucking 9/11, and we were two or three.
Yeah, and then you had Iraq, but like, don't get me wrong, like, there's tons of people serving Iraq, but then again, now we have those guided missiles, and we have
Bro,
everything.
they don't make planes anymore. The planes they make nowadays, I know this I heard this the other day. I don't know if I said it on the podcast. The planes they make now don't even have people. Like they're all remote planes.
Oh, yep, drones. Yep,
Drones, yeah.
they're all drone based. Yeah, and that's craziness. But yeah, that's just interesting. I mean, we have a soft generation. I'm not going to go any way around it. But we've talked about that. But I'm just thinking, I don't know. You think this would be another war? I mean, there's always
The problem is,
stuff
I feel like another war would just,
just nukes.
would just destroy everything. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was thinking about this, bringing up the planes thing. I was thinking about this the other day.
Yeah.
They're making planes that in the military that don't have people flying them, right? So it's just whatever they have, bombs, whatever in them. So what if they make airplanes for travel with no pilot? Is that
I don't really see that happening, just because computers malfunction from time to time, and if it's a drone, nobody's in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
here's what I think could happen. Now we're talking about it. I think they could have a plane being it's being flown remotely, but there's also a pilot there in case something goes wrong.
Well, isn't that what just a co-pilot, like autopilot, is?
Oh, I guess essentially, yeah. That's
I mean, so you know what's crazy? I have a buddy that I went to school with, flying commercial stuff. It doesn't take that long. It takes you like 7-8 years to become a functioning doctor. I think it only takes you like 2 to 3 years to fly these massive jets.
Yeah, well, here's the thing though. It sometimes takes a longer time because you have to pay. You have to have let's just put out a number. You have to have 150,000 hours flying. I don't know what the actual number is. Let's just say that's the number.
Yeah, I think it's
and you have to pay. You know, like we go to school, we pay tuition to go to school. You have to pay per like hour to get, and I think it's really expensive and it's hard to get those hours.
I thought that was for if you want your privates. If it's commercial, I think you sign with the company and then they cover either your debt, or maybe you take out a loan and then they cover your debt it's kind of like sometimes when you sign up at a hospital, they pay for your med school. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know, but I feel like pilots don't make enough for them to be paying that shit out of pocket. I don't know, but
I don't know what a pilot makes. I have no clue. I feel like you should be making a lot of
60.
Money.
They make like, I think only 60 to like 70.
No way, bro. They have all of our
Look it up. Average. Look it up. Average.
All right. Average
pilot salary.
Average
commercial pilot
of a commercial.
Maybe it's 80 to 90.
I mean, they have all of our lives, just 86,000.
Yeah.
I still think it should be more. I mean,
it's a rough life though. Imagine you're always moving around.
Sorry, my dog is barking.
He hears the pizza coming in from Bertolini's. But
yeah. So that's wild. Where were we going here? Oh, I wanted to say this earlier. So I told you about jury duty the other day, right? Or a couple weeks ago. Did I talk about it at all?
I don't know. You might have mentioned, but nothing in depth.
Let me tell you, I had jury duty a couple weeks ago. A few people I actually knew were there, like my age were there. You're friends with one of the girls. And anyway, so we're, it's a pretty boring day. I ended up not getting selected, but I had to listen to the whole case pretty much. And the DA that was there, assistant DA, she was hot Phoenix, Arizona, let me tell you. I want to put my D in her A. I just wanted to put that out there.
Do we got a name on the DA?
So I found it, and I'm not going to say it, but it was not easy to find because they don't have social media or anything because they're like,
yeah. Can we get the first name at least?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, it won't be that hard. There's only like one DA of Binghamton, right?
Yeah, but it was the assistant DA, and it was hard to find who works for the DA. It was not easy.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. For some reason, I think there's a lot of attractive people in law. Is it the criminal? Like, not
well, like, here's what it could be. You're dressed very nice in a suit. People look better in suits usually. So there's something.
Lots of money.
Yeah, usually. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. Lawyers. Geez. Well, so did you get chosen for a jury?
No, I didn't get picked, thank God. But the two girls I knew that were there, were up on the went up on the stand, but they didn't get chosen, or not up on the stand, but up in the, like, I don't know if you know how it works. It's
I don't know. They kind of
so they basically
break it
pick,
down.
you have a
right?
number and they pick your number, and then they basically go through and like ask you a bunch of questions, and if they think you're going to be a good juror, they pick you, and they didn't pick these people.
Jeez.
So
Jeez. Yeah, I would kind of go opposite of everything they say to me. Like, do you believe that this would be a right move? And I'd be like, do you want me to believe that this is right?
you could say any, and what I realized from this is if you don't want to do jury dude, you could so easily just say some fuck shit, like not even that fuck, just a little fucked, and you won't get
Yeah,
chosen.
yeah. You could be like,
Yeah.
You'd be like, I was recently watching that one movie where, everyone wasn't able to see, and a bird box or whatever, nobody could see, or no, well, here, I don't know, something, but be like, that's how I live my life. And then they'd be like, yeah, this guy is not fit to be a juror or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
sometimes
I was there for 8
chicken feet.
hours. I was thinking to myself, if I get my number chosen, which I had to be one of the few that didn't get chosen to even
Really?
go up there to get the questions asked to me. I'm like, all I'm gonna say if I get up there, I'm gonna be like, yeah, can I have your number? I was gonna ask the DA for a number. Like, what's the worst that could happen there? They can't send me to jail for
Yeah.
that.
I mean, how old? But a DA is gotta be like 30 at least.
She's probably 30. Yeah.
I mean,
Is
yeah.
she
I mean,
is she
you're
cool with
having
me
back
living
at the
in?
game.
You think she's cool with me living in my parents' basement?
Your basement there, maybe, dude. Sometimes it's a turn on. I don't think I'll ever get the jury duty because I think I'm a Florida resident, so all my mail is getting sent down to Florida. So that's fine. That's fine.
You could do Florida jury duty.
I'm off the clock. They'll be like, yeah, you need to come to Florida. Oh, sorry, I moved to New York. I'm not there anymore. But yeah, I mean, but we'll see. We'll see as this week goes on, and next week, we'll see what's going on. I guess it'll just be interesting to see what location we're both in for the next week's podcast. I don't know if we'll have a guest or not, but
yeah, I don't know either. I've had some people hit me up about wanting to come on.
yeah.
So I gotta, they gotta come up with some topics and figure it out. But yeah, I think we're actually up for this week. It went by pretty quick.
Yep.
So I mean, any last things?
Nah, I mean, I'm pretty dehydrated from this hot tub.
That's a long time to be in.
I know, especially drinking some Corona extras.
Yeah. And is it hot? It's not hot out though, at least.
No, so it's a good balance. But 45 minutes, I think, is at the legal limit there to be in the hot tub.
Yeah. Well, we're all about legal limits, right? But right at the border of it. Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, let's everyone have a good weekend.
Right. Bring it heat without compete. See you guys next time.
See ya.